This is the president's convoy as it moves anywhere in the world with no one noticing. Right now, as President Trump sleeps in the White House, his armored limousine has just arrived in a warehouse 6,900 miles away in Qatar, waiting for him to arrive in 3 days. Not a replica, not a backup. The actual 20,000-pound beast that will protect him on Friday has been there since Tuesday morning. And if even one foreign intelligence officer figures out how this magic trick works, decades of American security development goes straight in the trash. Moving the president's motorcade overseas is nothing like shipping your Honda to Hawaii. You can't exactly call FedEx and say, "Hey, I need to ship an armored limousine with classified defense systems to the Middle East, no questions asked." Because the beast isn't just a car. It's a rolling fortress with 8 inches of classified armor, 5-inch bulletproof glass, and doors that weigh as much as the ones on a Boeing 757. This thing can survive direct RPG hits, seal itself against chemical attacks, and maintain encrypted communication with the Pentagon while doing 60 down a highway. Every intelligence service on the planet would pay millions just to measure that armor with a ruler. So how does the Secret Service get 68 tons of America's most sensitive vehicles to Qatar without anyone examining them? The answer starts on a Sunday night at Joint Base Andrews, where loadmasters are loading the beast into this C-17 military transport. It's about as easy as trying to park a bank vault inside an airplane while making sure the plane can still fly afterward. The beast weighs 20,000 pounds, which is like stacking 6 Toyota Camrys on top of each other. Every inch of where it sits in that plane matters, because if you get it wrong, the aircraft's center of gravity shifts enough to turn a routine flight into everybody's worst nightmare at 30,000 feet. 3 loadmasters spend 45 minutes just positioning this one vehicle, using laser guidance systems to get it perfect down to the fractions of an inch. They secure it with chains that could hold the beast even if the plane did a barrel roll, which nobody wants to test, but everybody has to plan for. That afternoon, the C-17 takes off using a call sign that will change 3 times before landing. Kind of like using fake names at a hotel, except the hotel is the entire sky and the fake name's full military radar. The pilots have security clearances usually reserved for people who transport nuclear weapons, because the Pentagon figured out if you can be trusted with atomic bombs, you can probably handle the president's ride. This flight plan lists their cargo as diplomatic materials, which is technically true, the same way a shark could be described as seafood. For the next 14 hours, this flying warehouse full of armor follows military air corridors that stay completely separate from commercial routes. They're invisible to civilian radar, unlisted in any public database, basically flying through the night sky like Santa Claus, if Santa carried state secrets instead of toys. Inside the cargo bay, it's not just the beast. There's an entire motorcade in there, ambulances carrying blood for transfusions that match the president's type, communication vehicles that can jam any electronic device within 500 meters, and support vehicles with enough medical equipment to turn a Walmart parking lot into a trauma center. The pilots monitor weather at their destination, looking for the perfect conditions to land unseen. They'd rather circle for an hour, burning thousands in fuel, than touch down when a Russian satellite might be watching. But before they can even think of that, they have to coordinate 2 in-flight refuelings, with the first somewhere around the Azores Islands, and the second in the eastern Mediterranean. This is because the planes cannot land in foreign territory, even on U.S. bases, without getting searched for foreign listening devices again. Once refueled for the second time, as they cross into Middle Eastern airspace, the final call sign change happens. And if anyone were monitoring, this is how you make 68 tons of presidential armor disappear into thin air. Or in this case, into a warehouse that's about to become the most American piece of Qatar you've never heard of. The C-17 touches down at Al Udeid Air Base at exactly 3:17 a.m. local time, when the only people watching are Secret Service agents who've been standing on this particular piece of tarmac since yesterday. No ground crew rushes out with those orange sticks. No normal airport workers anywhere in sight. Just hand signals and encrypted radios guiding this massive aircraft to this section of the base that doesn't appear on any map you could Google. The cargo door opens to desert air that's still 95 degrees at 3 in the morning, because Qatar doesn't believe in comfortable temperatures even for secret operations. Vehicles roll down the ramp like the world's most expensive parade. Support vehicles first, then communication trucks, and finally, the beast itself. Actually, make that beasts plural, since there are 3 identical ones, because the Secret Service doesn't believe in single points of failure when it comes to protecting the president. These vehicles drive through the base past Qatari military posts whose guards have sudden urgent business looking the other direction. They're heading to Warehouse 7, which 2 days ago was just a regular warehouse, but has now undergone the kind of transformation that would make any house flipper jealous. Through diplomatic agreements so complex, they require the State Department lawyers who handle nuclear treaties. This concrete box now sits on the same soil as the White House lawn. Inside, the warehouse looks like someone crossed a high-security garage with a paranoid fortress. The climate control runs at exactly 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Not because anyone's worried about comfort, but because at the wrong temperature, the beast's rubber seals could degrade. And degraded seals mean the hermetic protection against chemical attacks might not work, which is the kind of problem that keeps Secret Service agents up at night. Dehumidifiers run constantly because moisture could mess with the electronic countermeasures. Even the lighting has been specifically positioned to eliminate shadows where someone might hide a surveillance device the size of a shirt button. The vehicles park in formations that change every 12 hours because even their parking spots are classified. The 3 identical beasts sit in patterns designed to confuse anyone trying to figure out which one will actually carry the president. From above, if someone could somehow photograph through the roof, they'd see 3 identical limousines and have no idea which one matters. Support vehicles create visual barriers. It's like 3-card Monte, except the cards weigh 20,000 pounds each and cost $1.5 million. Marines arrived yesterday on a different flight, officially listed as embassy support personnel, which is technically true if you think these vehicles as a very mobile, very armored embassy. These guys maintain a perimeter extending 2 miles from the warehouse, using equipment that can detect drones, telephoto lenses, even those parabolic microphones that look like satellite dishes. For the next 72 hours, they're living in this warehouse, sleeping on cots next to vehicles worth more than they'll make in their entire military careers, eating MREs, while guarding what amounts to the world's most expensive garage sale. Meanwhile, the Secret Service agents here run security checks every 4 hours, like helicopter parents checking on a baby. They inspect each vehicle for tampering, scan for new radio frequencies that shouldn't be there, check undercarriages with mirrors looking for magnetic devices, and test communication systems to make sure nobody's messed with them. Outside the warehouse, everyone's playing an elaborate game of pretend. The Qatari military knows something important is in there, but officially knows nothing. The base commander provides security but doesn't ask questions. Local intelligence services, who normally track every American military sneeze, have suddenly turned into Stevie Wonder. But the Secret Service knows that there's always someone looking, which is why they go to extreme lengths to mask the president while he's on a visit. The 3 beasts sitting in that Qatar warehouse are genuinely identical. Same armor, same weight, same everything. The Secret Service actually weighs them to make sure they're within 5 pounds of each other because they discovered foreign intelligence services were using high-resolution photography to analyze tire compression. Apparently, someone figured out that a heavier car would make the tires bulge slightly differently. So now the Secret Service has to think about tire bulges. This is the level of paranoia required to protect the president. When President Trump arrives on Friday, all 3 beasts leave the warehouse taking different routes to the airport. Secret Service drivers who've been practicing at a replica course in Maryland execute what looks like automotive ballet on the tarmac. As Air Force One taxis, These three identical vehicles keep switching positions. By the time Trump walks down those stairs, even the drivers don't know which beast he'll enter. The decision comes through encrypted communication from agents on the plane who are watching everything, analyzing positions, checking surveillance reports, then making the call at the last possible second. The president gets into one beast while agents create deliberate movement around the others, making it impossible for anyone watching to know which vehicle actually matters. The other two beasts don't stay empty. They carry Secret Service agents who sit there pretending to be important, which technically they are, just not in the way observers think. During the actual drive, this shell game continues at highway speeds. The three vehicles rotate positions every 30 to 90 seconds following patterns designed by NSA cryptographers. Yes, the same mathematicians who create unbreakable codes figured out how to make car movements unpredictable. The leading beast might suddenly fall back. The middle one might split to the outside. Even if someone filmed it from a helicopter, they couldn't track which one has the president. But the deception goes beyond just switching lanes. Each beast broadcasts identical electronic signatures, same encrypted communications, same electromagnetic emissions, same heat signature. The Secret Service discovered that advanced militaries were using electronic surveillance to identify the presidential vehicle by its unique communication traffic, like finding someone by their Wi-Fi signal. Now all three generate identical false traffic, creating so much electronic noise that remote identification becomes impossible. The communication vehicles add another layer to this game. They're broadcasting jamming signals that prevent remote detonation of bombs, but they're also creating fake cell towers that redirect local phone traffic. Anyone trying to coordinate an attack via cell phone suddenly finds their call going through NSA servers, which is probably not what they had in mind. This electronic bubble extends 500 meters in every direction, creating a dead zone for anything more sophisticated than a calculator. Drones lose GPS and crash. Smartphones stop working. Even modern cars with those fancy wireless keys suddenly won't start. Behind all this visible deception, there's even more backup. A fourth beast waits at a secure location between destinations, ready to deploy if something breaks. Support vehicles carry spare tires that weigh exactly what beast tires weigh. A normal tire would change how the vehicle handles. They even transport spare doors, because the Secret Service discovered that a damaged door could jam shut, trapping the president inside, which would make for terrible headlines. This shell game extends to routes too. The Secret Service plots 3 different paths to every destination, choosing which one to use only after the motorcade starts moving. Local police block all 3 simultaneously. Helicopter spotters cover all 3. The actual path gets chosen based on real-time intelligence, weather conditions, and sometimes just the gut feeling of the agents who've been doing this for decades. What looks like a motorcade confidently driving through streets is actually a constantly evolving decision tree being executed at 40 miles per hour. And the hard work doesn't stop just when the visit is over. The moment Air Force One lifts off with President Trump on board, the extraction begins. And this is when the Secret Service gets genuinely paranoid. They have exactly 18 hours to inspect every vehicle for tampering and disappear before foreign intelligence realizes the motorcade is vulnerable. While Trump's plane climbs to cruising altitude, technical teams swarm each vehicle with equipment so sensitive it could detect a baby monitor in the next zip code. They scan for bugs, check for explosive residue, and give every electronic system the digital equivalent of a colonoscopy. They're looking for modified firmware, anything that might allow remote access. Even the GPS systems get replaced. The Secret Service discovered attackers were introducing tiny timing errors to track vehicles later, like leaving invisible breadcrumbs. Then comes the really paranoid part. They spray every vehicle with chemicals that destroy DNA and fingerprints, not because they're worried about CSI Qatar, but because foreign intelligence services were building databases through biological traces to profile Secret Service agents. The extraction uses different everything from arrival, different crews, different flight paths, different timing. If they arrived at night, they'll leave during the day. The Secret Service assumes someone watched them arrive and will watch for the same pattern. The C-17 heads back to Andrews while another delivers vehicles to the president's next stop. The Secret Service runs these simultaneously, with motorcades constantly in motion like the world's most expensive juggling act. Bye for now.